Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the weekly reading for March, what is it? March 27th to, we're going into April 2nd for this week. Guys, I'm sorry, my voice is a little hoarse. I actually did some socializing earlier today. And I haven't socialized that much in a really long time. So my voice is a little hoarse and I hope it's okay. I hope we can get through this reading without me coughing. What else, guys? All right, I'm gonna jump right into it. But if you like this content, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this, including the weeklies. I'm going to expand to the monthlies here as well. I didn't do a monthly last month. I wasn't feeling too well, but I'm gonna start pumping out in the way of reading cards. Sometimes I just do an energy read, and I tried to do it live last time. Anyway, you'll see that pop up, and I'm going to get that up on the channel before the first of the month. So, all right, guys, let's begin. We have our nice, beautiful spread here. I'm staying with this spread. If you have any comments or suggestions, or if it resonates with you, please put it down below. I love interacting with you guys. All right, guys, let's see what's kind of going on this week. So the current energy, what do we have going on? A change in the wind, finally. Oh my God, I was talking to somebody earlier, and they were saying, oh, the 555 energy of change, which you guys know I dabble in numerology, also angel numbers. That 5 vibration is all about massive change, okay? And a lot of us have been seeing it for a long, long time. And it shows up well before the actual physical and environmental changes. So I'm not surprised you keep seeing it and feeling like there's a change. I don't know if this card is in here, but that limbo land, that kind of the worlds in between card, I wouldn't be surprised if it actually showed up, knowing that the change in the wind is here. But what I'm trying to say is that here it is, like it's coming, like it being in the current slot here is saying, okay, the physical and the environmental stuff is starting to change. Okay, so this could mean changing locations for a lot of us in the middle of a career shift. So that means that if it feels like you've been trudging through mud and trying to get on with your career and it feels like it's not moving forward, this week feels promising that it's going to show up. The change is going to show up in a more physical, environmental way. So lots of change kind of happening here, which is great because it's finally happening, even though we've kind of gotten these glimpses or these feelings that, yeah, it's going to change, but it hasn't quite changed yet. Okay, so what are our strengths that we can work with for the week? So we have peace. Amazing. Okay, so this is a great strength to have. And I'm actually already starting to feel this, so this makes sense for me. And again, would love to hear it in the comments if it resonates with you guys. But peace in the way of non-reactivity, peace in the way of course, inner peace. Sometimes I describe inner peace as emotional freedom. And that does come along with the, not necessarily being super reactive, not being super judgmental, closed-minded, all the things that the ego wants us to kind of, those emotions that kind of go on the ego side, on the shadow side of things. They tend to bring us more agony and creating our own suffering. And guys, I've been doing a lot of private readings lately, and what's coming up as far as like a theme I've been noticing is that we're really kind of creating our own suffering. And I'm looking at it with myself too, is that, and I was talking to a friend too about it, and 99.9% of our problems most of the time is things that we've created ourselves. So it's really about bringing our own peace. How do we bring our own peace? Yes, there's a lot of stuff that we can't control, but there's also a lot of things that we can. And one of those is how we react to certain situations, how we can, take care of ourselves emotionally, how we can take care of ourselves physically, how we can set boundaries for ourselves. All of those things we can do and we do have control over. So that's our strength this week. So it being in the strength spot is really telling me that we're getting a handle on this and we're being really confident and stepping into our power about that. So love, love, love that. So it doesn't feel like, even though, a change is coming, what I can say that it's like underneath here is that the change is coming pretty smoothly. Like it's actually pretty peaceful. And that is really good and actually doesn't surprise me because I use the word massive a lot because that's really what it is. And every time, there's a reason why these numbers are amplified, meaning like it's not just, maybe some of us see 55 a lot or something like that, but most of us see, 555, and sometimes 4 digits, 5555. Maybe some of you guys see 5. I don't know. I don't usually, and I'm not, maybe that would show up on a license plate or something. I'm not sure, but definitely won't show up on a, on a clock. But or microwave, or all right, anyway, I digress. But it feels massive in the way of that it's really life changing in that way. And usually something chaotic precedes it, but the actual change when it's time for to transform physically and environmentally, our surroundings, it's usually more smooth, because you've already kind of gone through the chaotic part already, if that makes sense. So it's not really super surprising to me that that's there, that the change is going to be kind of peaceful for you. Okay, so challenge, physical activity. Okay, this is kind of straightforward, guys. The purple ones are actually the numerology deck, and I've just been feeling really tapped into that lately. So this is the challenge about physical activity. This is kind of straightforward. If you have a chance to move your body, move your body. There might be, I never necessarily read directly like health and wellness and that kind of thing, but every once in a while it does come through in the way of, getting more physical activity, or it might just be a challenge to you. So I definitely do feel like this could also symbolize and mean for some of us out there in the collective of not, even though we have massive change kind of going on here, the challenge is, it's kind of like metaphorically saying like, okay, actually physically moving forward. So I definitely do feel like, even though the change is going to be peaceful, I feel like possibly, and guys, come here and comment if it happens to you during the week, if it feels like there might be a challenge in some type of way moving forward. So the other thing I can think of too is like, if you guys are on like some kind of health journey, which that's my journey. It's actually, talking about actual physical health. So it'll manifest differently for a lot of you guys, but I definitely do feel like the challenge in some type of way is getting moving, in any way, shape, or form. Like, that's the best way I can kind of say it. Okay, so your need. So need for nature. Oh my goodness. See, and I also love these numerology cards because they're pretty straightforward, and they could tell a lot just by colors as well as the numbers, right? And so nature, oh my gosh. So we have purple and green does represent heart chakra and love, actually. So a lot of people think, it's more, pink and red, and it can. But really green is really about the love of nature. And then the purple is really about intuition, connecting to our third eye. And so basically this is connecting to nature. So this is definitely something we need. Guys, you will benefit greatly by connecting to nature this week, okay? That might actually be part of the peacefulness here, right, for the strength. We're not turning this one over. All right, so we have, what can we focus on? Imagine. Okay, amazing. So this imagine is really, sorry, I moved this here. This imagine is really about visualization and really looking forward to the future. Okay, what do we focus on? What do we actually want? And so as things change and come to fruition for us this week, it's important also to, yes, be present. And I think a lot of our messages in the last couple of weeks is really about being present. And I got that a lot in the private readings as well. But this is actually giving us more, like Spirit is saying, like switching the energy kind of over to looking forward. Because it's almost like this change is happening. Okay, the next step. What's the next step, right? And so it's kind of like looking forward towards the next step for your next big change, essentially, right? You might be thinking like, oh my God, no, and if you're an empath, which you probably are, if you find yourself here, is that you're like, oh my God, I can't take too much change at one time. So this is really just, seeing it in and it's preceding what I said about, I'm getting a lot of like intuition here from this card, like connection. So this is really, imagining it in your third eye, in your movie screen, in your head is sometimes what I like to call it, where your clairvoyance kind of lives there. But it's really about kind of like looking forward, right? And so that would be a really good focus, is really kind of, saying, maybe not necessarily saying like what's next, but it's kind of like, okay, how do I make what's happening here even better? How do I accelerate? How do I grow upon this? That's like a better journal type question to be asking yourself. Because it's definitely related, right? So it's like, okay, this big change is happening. How do I make it bigger? How do I grow? How do I have more potential here is a better way to ask the question. Okay, so we have surprise. Oh, what do we have? Okay, so we have thinker. So, and then we have the number 44. That's kind of like jumping out to me here. So 44 is always about angel numbers or foundation. So, something that is surprising is, so I'm actually getting from this on an intuitive level for some of you guys. So thinker is always about more logical discernment, thinking things through, weighing the pros and cons, different things like that. But what I'm getting here is like an analytical person kind of coming through. And so a lot of us need to just pay attention to anybody that kind of comes through and is more of a logical perspective for us. And it's really kind of going to be a surprise. I don't think it's necessarily romantic. I mean, it could be, but I definitely feel like a helper of some kind, because I'm getting like, because of this angel energy that's kind of coming through, I use the term sometimes like earth angel, but I feel like that's kind of extreme. And earth angel is really just somebody that comes into your life that really accelerates your growth and really helps you out during a really hard healing time, just a really hard time in general. So I feel like this is like an extreme version of that. Like Spirit is saying is like, it's not like you're going through, like, maybe some of you guys are, and I'm not here to like measure your pain or like what you're going through or anything like that. But it's not like you're going, like, that doesn't feel, at least, like a crisis of some kind where this person is like really, really helping you out, but it does feel like this is helpful, it helpful in your transition, let's put it that way, in your transformation, or however you want to say it, your big massive change. So look out for somebody that's more analytical, somebody that can help you. An example that's coming through is if your big transition is that you've been kind of working on, transitioning out of your 9 to 5 and working, for yourself. Maybe this person is somebody that's like more of a bookkeeper, or, online business manager, or, something along the lines, a lawyer, somebody that thinks more on the analytical or logical scale that could really help accelerate what's, your transformation and what's going on with you. So look out for this person, and it's going to be a surprise. And the reason why I say it's going to be a surprise, it's in the surprise slot, but it definitely does feel like you don't see it coming. Okay, so it's not like you're seeking this person out, but they kind of appear. Okay, and so just go with your gut on this, I guess I want to say. But I definitely do feel like it's in alignment for you. Okay, so just watch out for that energy and watch out for that person. Okay, so speaking of people, relationships, yang. Okay, yang is the masculine part of things. So I definitely do feel like it is a lot of us are going to, and guys, this is not gender specific at all. I'm actually probably going to start transitioning to calling it more yang and yang, just to, I don't want to say be politically correct, but it's just, I think the gender thing just throws people off for the most part. But the yang here is the masculine, and being in our masculine energy is like this thinker, is the structure, is the analytical, like that kind of thing. And so I definitely is the leader, basically, is the provider, like that kind of thing. So with this being in the relationship slot with this energy, it's telling me that a lot of us are going to be shifting a lot of and by the way, males, females, gender neutral, however you identify, we all have both masculine and feminine. Sometimes we lead with more, sometimes we lead with less. It really kind of depends on where we are in life, what we're doing. Sometimes with different people, we have different types of shifts of this energy. So I definitely do feel like for the majority of us in our relationships in general, definitely including obviously romantic, we're going to switch to more of that yang energy, that masculine energy. So taking the lead and being the person that takes the lead, the person that provides. And so I definitely do feel like that shift. So if you're more, it's almost like I don't want to say opposite, but do I want to say that? So if you're somebody that leads a little bit more with your feminine in your relationships, you're going to kind of feel that shift. And that's okay. Like, it's like the best word that I can say that's coming up for me is assertiveness. And it's like, there's nothing going on here with that. Like, basically it's neutral. And so, I think Spirit is like kind of coming through with this, because it's like, okay, it's natural. And so, and I don't think, and by the way, I feel like I need to say it's not permanent. And so, I definitely do feel like if it's something that you don't like doing in relationships, you don't like making all the decisions, and it feels like it's a burden, your partner's not, picking up the slack or whatnot, it's definitely temporary, and it'll even itself back out. Like, that's at least the feeling that I'm getting, because a relationship does require obviously both. That's what the yin and the yang is, right? It's like that even type energy, but it definitely does feel heavier on the masculine side. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. Okay, and money and finances. Love partnership. Interesting. Actually, this makes sense that this came up here in the money and finances. And I actually put career here too. But love partnership. So with money and finances, there's something here where, so okay, so let me say this in a way that makes sense and is the best way to explain this. When you're in masculine energy, it's doing, right? When you're in more feminine, it's more being present, but we're not getting present, right? We're actually kind of, you guys know sometimes I explain readings in the way of like inaction versus action. I actually feel, even though we have this peace card, I feel like that's the only one that feels like, more introspective type inaction energy. I feel like this is an action week for sure. Things are getting done. With breaks, of course, going out in nature and that kind of thing, because we absolutely need it. That's also why I think it's in the need spot, right? It's like, don't forget to take a break, right? Take a break, go out in nature, go outside. But it's definitely yang doing energy that's moving forward. Visualizing, even though it's more of a feminine type thing, you're still trying to move forward. It's basically this whole reading is kind of about moving the energy forward, finally getting all of that stagnant, stuck energy and moving it, right? And so why I'm saying this is because this is more about the doing. So, part of the doing is making more money or getting ahead in career or making things happen, like that kind of thing. So it doesn't shock me that it's basically saying in our love relationships, this is going to be positive for us. So how do I see this manifesting and how do I kind of explain this? You could be making more money than your partner this week, and maybe that's something that doesn't usually happen or something like that. Or you could be meeting somebody where it feels like you could they're like a good they'd be a good partner for business. Because the way that I'm reading this, I know it says love partnership. I know most of our our minds go right to love being romantic. I don't always see love that way. I see this really as like this could be a love business relationship, if that makes sense. And so just watch out for our relationships this week because they have an opportunity to accelerate us financially and career-wise as well. And also we're meeting ourselves where we are in the masculine, which is, it's kind of like this perfect marriage of we're inner masculine, we're ready to do, and then we meet the right person that's going to kind of accelerate us in our career, if that makes sense. So look out for somebody. And honestly, I wonder if these are kind of connected in some type of way, is that this thinker, this person that's going to come through and really help us accelerate in, and I know some of, this big transition that a lot of you guys are having isn't necessarily career for everybody, but something is telling me it's kind of the majority for you guys in the collective. But anyway, it might be connected here. Okay, so might be the same person, for example. And so I love that it's accelerating in both places, so please watch out for that. So that's very interesting. So, but I definitely do feel like new stuff, right? And so new people is basically what I'm saying. So watch out for anybody new that kind of comes in. And I've been kind of getting this energy. I'm very curious to when I do the monthly for April 2023, if we're going to get this feeling of social, being more social, because I'm definitely getting that for sure. And usually spring is like that, but I'm definitely getting it heavy for April. I didn't necessarily get it the last few weeks for March, but as we transition into April, it's becoming more apparent. And I think we actually had this last week for overall outcome. So amazing. So this is I think, in my opinion, one of the best cards to get because we have higher power. And so overall outcome, higher power, connecting to a higher power, trusting. That's how I relate it, is that we're finally trusting that everything is working itself out. I'm telling you guys, the stuck energy is beginning to move and you're being able to actually physically see the changes. And that is amazing. And that builds trust. So evidence builds trust. So not all the time we have evidence, but this week we have some evidence. So that could also help build confidence, right? Build confidence that we're going in the right direction, that we're in alignment, that everything is going to work itself out. Everything is coming together. I'm meeting people that accelerate me. Everything is going smoothly. Everything feels peaceful, that kind of thing. So it looks really good, basically, guys. It looks like a really good week for us, and I'm just really optimistic about it because I know a lot of you have been like messaging me and letting me know, like, yeah, when is this freaking change actually going to come to fruition? And let me just say, it's starting. So finally. Okay. Guys, I hope this resonates with you. Let me know in the comments. Like I said, I think it's super fun to, maybe check it out, the video again by the end of the week, and kind of see how it came to fruition. But up to you guys, but I'd love to hear from you. And like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one and in the monthly.